The final straw. From age 21 to 24, I took a complete hiatus from men. During this time period, I was trapped at home like the rest of the world due to the coronavirus pandemic. Despite its devastating impact on the world, COVID forced me into a critical period of isolation that forced me to be alone with my own thoughts. In my self-reflection, I was finally able to come to terms with my queer identity, which I had been suppressing for so long. I went to therapy on Zoom and unpacked my childhood trauma. I came out to my family. I uncovered a passion and talent for makeup artistry. I made new friends in my community, many of whom remain my closest friends to this day. I was working 2 jobs that I loved. By my 24th birthday, I truly felt that I had peaked. It's not a coincidence that my life got better after I made the decision to shift my focus away from pursuing men. Yet, I was still convinced deep down that I couldn't avoid them forever. I decided I'd had plenty of time away from men, so I should be immune to falling back into old patterns. So, I downloaded dating apps. The moment I got my first like on Bumble, I folded. It didn't take long to resume the cycle of enmeshment and male attention that I'd put on pause for 3 years. I truly thought I'd never go back to that place again. But dating apps are engineered to keep you addicted. Like after like, match after match, dopamine hit after dopamine hit. I quickly became fixated on this one guy in particular. I'd collected minimal data on him, but all I needed to know was that he painted his nails. And my brain filled in the blanks. He must, therefore, be a feminist. And I concluded that he was safe and that he wasn't a misogynist, that I needed to grab him before someone else did. I needed him to stay interested in me. So I immediately gave him what I knew all guys wanted, my body. Physically, I enjoyed this guy. The end. I did enjoy talking to him in the beginning, but the more he opened his mouth, the more I saw that he was a misogynist cosplaying as a nice guy. He worshipped my body but made ruthlessly misogynistic remarks about plus-size women. He had an obsessive need to speak demeaningly about the women in his life, especially his ex-girlfriend. He was also heavily dependent on substances to get through the day. This new data I'd collected was quite inconvenient because my brain had already decided he was the one. I couldn't distract myself with someone else because I'd impulsively deleted all my dating apps. And when he started pulling away from me, I fell into a deep depression. Eventually, he ghosted me completely. I later found out he got back together with his ex, the one he said was so toxic. Turns out I'd been nothing but a set of body parts to keep him occupied until his ex reached out again. That poor woman is a fool. I could not believe this happened again. Why did I keep falling into this trap? After years of cleansing myself of the need for male validation and attention, how could I so easily fall back into these same patterns? Adult Lexy, reflecting on the situationships of my 20s, can see that these men had no respect for me. But I simply could not fathom it at the time. How could these men share their body intimately with a woman and then just toss her in the trash? Well, the same reason that kid in elementary school pretended I was his backpack and did gross things to it in front of me. We learned in part 1 how boys are programmed to see girls as objects first and human beings second. Boys will be boys, so it only makes sense that almost every guy, from my first boyfriend all the way to my latest situationship, saw me primarily as a set of body parts. And for years, that's how I saw myself. He thinks, therefore I am.